And here we go. Looking to be live to watch FOMC today with you guys. And so I have not been online all day. And so just to let you guys know, it is my wedding anniversary today. Been married for a while. And so basically we just kind of hung out today. I didn't really pay attention to the markets until now. And so what I want to do is go ahead and watch FOMC live with you guys, as we know that the Federal Reserve has cut 25 basis points. And so that's what we're waiting for Powell to actually talk about today. So let's go ahead and wait for him. Right now, currently the market is sideways, kind of going back and forth with the stock market as well as Bitcoin. If we go ahead and zoom out a little bit, we're going to see that again, wicks up and down. And either way, basically not too much to really watch besides some chop. So let's see here. Let's see if they're going to be live anytime soon. It just keeps going back and saying that go to their YouTube channel. Okay, so we're here. It's not live yet. We'll go ahead and click that again. Video unavailable. Nothing yet, nothing live. So we'll go ahead and keep an eye on this. But for now, good morning, everybody. For now, nothing is really happening besides chop. So we'll go ahead. We'll wait on the Federal Reserve. I may even have to put some headphones on because as cheesy as this looks, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I can't hear it either way unless I have these on. So waiting for Uncle Jerome to talk. How you guys doing? Having fun with the market today? Just a lot of chop right now. Nothing's really changed yet. So let's see when he talks. Let's see what happens. I want to see if Bitcoin can break back above this prior range, right? We basically so far all we've seen is another lower high. Okay, so unable to really break back above, and this is really, but the good news is that we're holding all right here on the 4-hour, the chart that I want to. Yeah, I know. It's with the volatility, it's hard to say. So a lot of times what ends up happening is if you have one direction that happens on these FOMC days, what I've seen anecdotally, right? I can't go back, but I think others will agree, is if you see the market dump during the actual discussion, or as far as how many basis points they cut, if you end up seeing what the market does at that point at 2 p.m., and then Powell will usually get on there, and usually it does a reversal. So we're just waiting to see what he has to say. Right now it says live, and I click that, and it says video unavailable. So maybe they're just kind of waiting, because this is a big day overall. I can see why they're taking their time, because it's a big day. I mean, we haven't had rate cuts in a long time, and so just wanted to hang out with you guys because I haven't been online today. Again, I have spot positions still open, 99%. Let's go ahead and go to October. So October, let me see here. So right now we've got 400 to 425. October, sorry. Here we go. So 25 basis points for October, 93% right now. December, 92% for 25 basis points. So basically, if you guys want to keep up with that, that's really what is projected to be the next few cuts in October and December, is 25 basis points. And so, yeah, man, guys, Omega, good to see you. All you guys, thanks for being here. Yeah, he's not popping up yet. So we'll just chill. This is going to be a chill one. If you guys aren't doing anything, if you're just hanging out, whether you're at work or if you're in Europe or Asia, it's the evening time. Whether you're in North America and it's like post lunchtime, wherever you're at, If you're just hanging out, that's what we'll do today. And I'll turn this on and you should be able to hear it. From my knowledge, you should be able to hear Jerome Powell speak, and we'll just kind of, based on what he says, what we can do is, let me go ahead and do this. What we can do is go ahead and separate this, and we can watch FOMC maybe on the left side here, and then on the right side, we can kind of see how the markets react, okay, with both the stock market and crypto. And what we'll do too is we'll go to like the 15-minute chart, maybe even like the 5-minute chart, and based on that we can see how price reacts with what he's saying. And so really what you want to come down to is we want to see Jerome Powell talk in a way that discusses future rate cuts over the next 2 FOMCs in October and December. And based on that, you're probably going to see the market continue to push up. If there's any hesitancy whatsoever, that's not a good thing. So just kind of laying it out for you. If you see any hesitancy from him, about pivoting, and you have to understand this is priced in, by the way. If you don't remember that when you trade news, typically something like this is priced in. So the price that you're seeing now on the charts, really over the past, look at this here. This is the stock market. This is SPX. But if you see here over the entire month, right? I mean, we're up. And so Bitcoin's kind of the same, trending to the upside. Him going to the 4-hour chart since early September. This has been priced in ever since the job data came out in the first week in September. And we saw that it was clear as can be that they're going to cut rates because the job data is so bad. It's just clear. Okay, so that made it clear the first week in September that this was going to be priced in as a rate cut at least 25 basis points. And that's why you saw the run up. So this entire run up here over the course, sorry, you guys, I forget that my picture's in the way there, down there. But if I zoom this up, this entire run up in September was the Federal Reserve pricing in a 25 basis point cut. So that's what we're watching for. Now we're going to see. Let me go ahead and see if he's still not live yet. Let me go ahead and go to YouTube, to their channel, refresh this. Still not live. It says live, but they're not live yet. Yeah, so can you guys hear this actually? So if I play this right here, can you hear this? This video? What is the Fed? Can you hear that? Let me know if you guys can hear that. If you can, say in the comments. If you can't, then I guess I'm just going to have to just... Oh, they are live? What? Okay, sorry. What is going on? Oh. Okay, it's not giving me that. What? He's live? Oh, gosh. Ah, they are live. Guys, what is the deal? Oh, that's so annoying. What? This video is restricted? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I can't watch live stuff right now for some reason? Okay. Guys, let me figure this out really fast. I think I know what it is. Man, this totally screwed this entire live stream up. That I'm somehow getting blocked. Can you believe that? Sorry, we'll get this started. We'll get it going. Man, I cannot believe that. Maybe it's something to do with... Give me 1 second. Maybe it's my app, one of my things on my computer system that's blocked. I don't know why. I've never had that happen before. Well, I'm sure you guys are excited right now. 1 second. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. Okay. So let's go ahead and watch the market right now. It's kind of going down a bit. I want to go ahead and what I'm going to do is let me see if this works now. I have some restrictions on for my kids. This is kind of hilarious that I can't watch anything. Jeez Louise. All right. Well, if it's not going to play, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Twitter and we're going to basically see what he has to say based on some of these. So Powell says, can no longer say labor market is solid. Okay. What other things? Powell says, could think of today's cut as a risk management cut. So if you look at it in that sense, right, that's kind of slow. Yeah, well, risk management cut. I don't know if they're liking that language too much. So that a risk management cut is more or less not really dovish, right? It's not really a type of, we need to print money. We need to get into the active of situation of printing. And so maybe you're seeing a little bit of pullback based on that conversation. As far as we were right to wait. Again, that's good. Don't feel the need to move quickly on rates. Again, not really super dovish here, right? So again, because of this, they're saying that they're cutting rates, but they're not necessarily in a hurry to move quickly. Yeah, so CoinDesk has it. Let me see if I can see. This is so annoying. CoinDesk. Now my internet's down. What is this about? Jeez. But yet you guys can still see me, right? I'm so confused. Why is my internet doing this? Okay. Wow, this is like the worst live stream ever. I'm so mad. Okay, so who cares? We're going to keep, I don't know why it's doing this right now. Connect to the internet? What? Dude. Yeah, I have no clue what's going on. Let me see if I can do something else. Let me see if this fixes it. I've got some filters on my internet for my kids. What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so well, connect to your internet. That's hilarious. Okay. I have no clue what's going down, guys. I'll take a look at this. I put some content filters on here for children because I have to. All right, so let's do this. Let's see how the market's reacting accordingly. So market's going down, market's dumping. This is just as good. Spot gold falls as Fed Powell speaks. U.S. stocks extend fall. Nasdaq down 1%. Risk of higher inflation are less than they were in April. Again, so he's saying a lot of things that he should say right now. Dude, I know the markets. I'm trying to break it down. Basically, this is what's going down though. If you look and based on notes, which I actually like this quite a bit. I use Walter Bloomberg. This is some random guy. I don't even know if this is really a guy. If he just used some random picture. Nobody knows even the story behind this guy is like nobody knows who he is. He just showed up one day and like just started like streaming news. And like this guy's been super popular. And I don't even think he's in America from my knowledge. So, but anyways, he's really good. He's really spot on. He's like Watcher Guru. A lot of these other financial juice. Those are a few other ones that I pay attention to. But he's pretty on top of things. But basically, based on these notes, what I'm hearing, I'm not even able to hear Powell right now, is he's saying all the right things that he should say, but he's not really giving a tone that is saying money printing, cut a lot more rates, things that are going to be really risk on for assets. And so also don't be surprised, even though the market's breaking down right now, don't be surprised too that we could get a bounce, right? This is the 5-minute chart, potential bounce right here. But for Bitcoin in general, Bitcoin actually doesn't look too bad. And so as far as Bitcoin goes in this range since the 11th here, you know, it's just kind of, it's kind of holding above it right now. So again, we peaked above 117. Now we're down to around 114, 115, right? And we're just kind of ranging. So Bitcoin right now isn't having a big response like the stock market is. The stock market's not liking it too much. There is a quick bounce in the stock market, but overall, it is down quite a bit more than Bitcoin right now. So it's looking a bit weaker. Let me get these out of the way. Let me see if there's any other notes that we need to see. Gold is still down. Let me see if we can look at financial juice. These guys are pretty good. A lot of times they're a lot more efficient. Our policy has been skewed toward inflation. We all know that. Time to acknowledge a risk to the employment mandate. At the same time, we need to weigh risk to two Fed goals. The case for being a persistent inflation outbreak or less. So again, I think they're just really putting in the verbiage and words that they're going to continue with the rate cuts. See inflation rising this year is good prices. Man, prices just keep rising. Have you guys noticed that? I went to, I took my wife's car to the shop even this week and like had some basic stuff done to it, like oil change, tire rotation. I think I had the brakes done too. And they came back with just a crazy number. And I was like, what? Like, you seriously want me to pay this much for you guys to change my brakes, rotate my tires, and change the oil? It's at a dealership, service center. So, I mean, I just go to these places, and then you go to the grocery store, right? You guys have probably seen this, right? You go to the grocery store, and you're just buying a few things, and then you check out, and it's like $100 for that 2 bags of groceries, and you're just like, what? Now, I'm not talking about ramen noodles, right? I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about if you go and you buy maybe some meat and vegetables, and if you're buying some other things. I mean, meat is always expensive, but I mean, just prices in general are just a lot higher than even they were prior to COVID. And that was just, 5 years ago. And so, so often do we see and make fun of, older people, grandparents. We've done that in the past because they would always say, back in my day, this cost a quarter, this cost 25 cents, this cost 50 cents. Houses cost $10,000, $20,000, whatever. And it's just like, you make fun of that, and then you just see inflation just wreak havoc in your everyday life now, as we continue to see prices go up. And then salaries, as you know, you're probably not making any more money. And so this is a huge case for Bitcoin, right? This is a huge case for crypto. This is a huge case for assets in general. And this is why you're watching. This is why you're here. This is why you're trading and investing in assets outside of the dollar, outside of fiat currency, because you continue to lose purchasing power every year. And so I don't care if Bitcoin breaks down 50% in a cycle, 75%, whatever. That is still going to beat the dollar overall over the course of the next 3 to 4 years. You're going to end up saving, because once you lose purchasing power in the dollar, unlike Bitcoin, once you lose purchasing power on the dollar, you're not getting it back. Like, it's done. And that's the thing about fiat currency and the dollar bill is like, and I know some of you guys live in other countries as well, but I'm just talking about the world reserve currency, the dollar, what everybody seems to want. In the end, that never comes back. It just doesn't. It's rare that you're going to see. Now, prices will fall, right? So you may see the price of a car fall, or the price of a house fall, or the price of whatever fall, but they're never going back to what they were a decade ago. They're just not. You're just not going to see that happen. The same item is going to cost more in the dollar because over the last decade, the dollar bill has continued to lose its purchasing power from 2 to 5% or more a year, every year over the decade. And so again, market is really breaking down now. Let's go ahead and refresh this based on what he's saying. And so no risk-free path for two-sided risk. Powell says, look at the projections through the lens of probability. Again, Bitcoin is not nuking too bad. Let's go to Ethereum. Let's go look at some altcoins and see how they're playing out. ETH breaking down a little bit more, but it does look weak. Here on the ETH chart, if you guys can see this, okay? Basically, right, ETH pulled back down here to around 4,200. Had a really nice break above 4,700. But I said, I really want to see this hold on the daily chart. Now, even though it broke on the daily, I tend to say buy those retests, not necessarily buy a breakout, but buy a retest. Because if you buy a breakout, more often than not, when prices break a specific a barrier, a resistance zone, they tend to pull back into it at least once. And so for me, that's the type of thing where I would buy down here, and if it continues to break down lower than 4,600, that's when I just cut it. But I bought down here, and I'm still holding a little bit of ETH. I'm still up. I'm not down at all. But as you can see on the daily chart here on ETH, right, price broke above that previous range that we wanted to see on the 4 hour, 1 hour in the range before. Broke down, was not able to keep it, wicked above it, is down, and just has continued down. And honestly, it looks, the way it's going right now is that ETH just wants to break down further. I mean, the bonus point of ETH is that, I mean, if anything, it's kind of in an uptrend right here, right? So, I mean, it's kind of where it needs to bounce at. So we'll go ahead and watch that. I hate trend lines, but they are good kind of for spotting to see if there's more of a breakdown. But if you go ahead and look at the stock market's breaking down pretty good right now. So not looking good overall for stocks. We're looking at a breakdown of, let's go, let me find it here. Where's my price data? Down over 1% over the last hour or so for stocks. Not good. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you heard Powell say run to your bank and withdraw your money, I mean, the problem is right now is that the dollar is going to be better than risk assets if he's talking in a way that is more hawkish, right? Or in a way that doesn't really push money printing and push higher rate cuts here, because that's what everybody wants. But in the end, it's not really good for you. But the whole goal of this, honestly, and I think you'll hear a lot of people say this, is that I don't even know why I have these headphones on anymore because I'm not even listening to Powell. The whole point is to take advantage of this current market cycle, and you want to buy those assets. You want to buy these assets, you want to ride them to highs, and then you want to sell them for dollars or fiat currency. At least, maybe not Bitcoin, maybe not if you have long-term spot Bitcoin, right? Maybe you're just going to hold that for the next 10 years, right? Assets that appreciate, but you want to tend to buy those risk on assets and stocks, etc., and maybe sell those as we have a run up. Probably here in the next 6 months, sell those as in we go into a dip. People are going to argue super cycle. People are going to say this time's different. People are going to say all kinds of stuff. But you know what? Something's never changed in the world, and that's human emotion. And you're always going to have greed, and you're going to have buyers and sellers. And all the market is like an auction. And what's going to happen is if we even get a dip right here, and if we get a dip right here and the market continues to run up, eventually what's going to happen or these prices are going to hit a point to where people are so high up as far as a return, they're going to sell those, right? If you have Bitcoin go up to 200K, it's going to hit a certain mark, right? And it's going to go up there in the market, maybe over time, it's going to hit that. And people are going to say, this is a great deal, a great selling opportunity for me. They're going to sell that. You're going to have selling pressure and the prices are going to go down eventually. And so people can speak super cycle all they want, but all markets move up, they move down. They have significant pullbacks in crypto and Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin pull back 30% back in April, back down from 100 and something down to 70K. And again, if you're trading these, the whole goal is to ride it up. I think we'll get a pullback potentially here, but I think the pullback won't last too long. And in in Q4, we'll see a run up. You ride those assets up, Bitcoin, stocks, whatever, and then you get to a point of where profit, you sell those, you watch the market go down, and then you rebuy. That's just kind of the cycle that you go to. So again, super cycle or not, I don't really care. If you get a pullback in the market and you have a buying opportunity, you buy those assets, you lift them right up, you take profits. Everybody does it. Funds do it. Everybody does it. It's just bottom line, like, I believe in holding Bitcoin long term, but if I buy Bitcoin as a trade or long it as a trade, I'm going to cut that eventually because I know it's going to pull back. And then that way, even though you got to pay taxes on it, depending on where you live, you can buy more lower. So I know blasphemy. Never sell your crypto. Well, I have round tripped so many times in my life, I can't even count. So anyway, let me do this. There's this let me see. I don't know. I'm moving my thing over because that subscribe button is like kind of in the way. You guys can't even see me. All right, so going back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't look awful by any means, guys. I mean, it's like breaking down a little bit. Stocks having a nice bounce right now. So again, like I said, you're going to have volatility here. I don't necessarily think you're going to get one direction, and don't be shocked by the end of this conversation here. It's just going to go sideways. And a lot of times what ends up happening is the next day is where you see a lot of the price movement happen. So sorry. All right, let me go ahead and refresh this. It kind of stinks that we weren't able to get PAL on. Markets are pricing in rate path, though I'm not blessing that path. Okay. The labor market is softening. Don't need it to soften more. Don't want it to. Don't know that a 1/4 point cut will make a huge difference. Okay. So I didn't hear his context of what he said that got a lot of likes. So as he spoke earlier in the conversation, that wasn't as much cutting and printing. This type of reaction right here is what probably got the bounce, or helped with the bounce right now. Now this is the last, but just seeing that he's saying a 1/4 point cut, 25 basis points basically is not a huge difference. Maybe they end up cutting 50 next time, right? So maybe that's what people are thinking as well too. So with these words, of course, there's going to be a lot of conversations that you're going to hear in the next 48 hours about what happens next and predictions about, what he says. Powell does a really good job. He never wants to say too much. I think he's a really good chair as far as using his words wisely and knowing what to say. He does a really good job with that. So yeah, he tends to give very standard answers for sure. But the market is bouncing a little bit on that. And so again, because I say that, ETH is like holding this area. Bitcoin is so really sideways right now. Oh, and I'm not going sideways. Good. I'm not going, I thought that I froze there for a minute. Let's see if he's saying anything else. The U.S. money market fund assets down. Oh, Okay, well, they're down. Was that it? And maybe he's done. Let's see too. I like to hear a lot of times what Kabesi says. They do pretty good. Um, I actually bought their newsletter, and you guys don't. They honestly like give better content on Twitter than they even do their newsletter. I'll be honest with you. It's not. I forget what it costs, like $100, $200 a month. Honestly, it's not. Like they give all this really good information, and then they sell a newsletter. And again, I'm not dissing them at all. I mean, their newsletter is fine. Maybe some of you guys subscribe to it too. But I mean, in the end, I feel like a lot of what they say on Twitter is what you find in the newsletters, what they say on Twitter. Kind of the rule is a lot of times you give kind of your best content, and you hope that people will end up buying kind of your newsletter or product a lot of times. But what I've seen, anyways, they're pretty good, and so nothing right now. They're just talking about how things are kind of going a little bit lower. Again, these guys are pretty mega bullish, which I don't know. I found a lot of contradictory things in these guys. I think they give you both scenarios of up and down. I mean, I do that too a lot, but they tend to, the Kabesi letter, they tend to say like, there's one guy who was like putting down to like new local lows for the SPX in the newsletter, and then within their newsletter also they say that it's going to hit new highs. I'm just like, well, what is it, guys? And I think that what they do is then they can say, well, we got it right. So anyways, it is what it is. They just do a good job of breaking, not to sit here and talk about their newsletter for 3 minutes. Okay, so they don't really have anything. Financial Juice is probably a little bit better, but basically breaking it down. Okay, AI might be part of the story in hiring slowdown. I don't know. That's the truth. I mean, but this is the thing. In the end, like AI, you can say, I mean, it's not like you're going to have a whole world full of people without jobs, right? Like the world will change with AI. Bullish on AI, especially AI investments. Companies that are using AI, those types of things are things that you want to invest in for sure. But I mean, I don't think AI is going to take everything. AI can't replace people. They can't replace relationships. Yeah, can you have an AI that talks to you? You can, and gives you information. But again, like you're watching this content here, and a lot of people here know me. You've talked to me. You've heard me. And you don't have that with a computer. Again, there's going to be AI influencers in the future. But I'm just saying, like in general, like AI is not going to... A relationship, when you go into a store and you buy something, you want to have those relationships. But I do think that it is a big part of the slowdown, especially in the tech sector. So again, tech necessarily is not a safe bet like it used to be. So with investing, the funny thing is that the tech market, like the Mag 7, they make up so much of this S&P 500. They make so much of, NASDAQ is pretty tech heavy, but they make so much of that. I mean, honestly, in the end, like the tech sector had its biggest blow up between 2005 after the .com bubble to like 2020. And so I think after that, like now you're wanting to invest more into AI and robotics. Those are the things I think they're going to go up the most when it comes to investments and risk. But as far as the tech sector in general, I'm not mega bullish on a lot of things because, again, if AI is taking their jobs, I don't know. It's just, or maybe AI is replacing some of that stuff too. I don't see anything else quite yet. Any questions? Yeah. I mean, for a graphic designer, I use AI for a lot of designing. So like I use AI for a lot of my thumbnails, by the way. So you can like make fun of my thumbnails. I make fun of my thumbnails. Did you see like my last thumbnail? This right here, my face is like that, like I'm scared. This is like a real picture of me. That's this one time to pay attention. But then like this one's AI, this one's AI, this one's AI. Some of this is AI. With me in the glasses. I just play around with my pictures often. So a lot of this is AI. So I'll use AI for that stuff. But if I definitely wanted a design for something specifically, I'm going to go to a designer. I'm not going to just AI it, because AI is a pain in the butt. It's very finicky still. Anyway, let's see what else they have to say, guys, and then we'll take a look at the charts, okay? Companies in the middle say that they intend to pass on higher prices, but have not so far. So in the end, prices could continue to go up because they're trying to eat at the tariffs, I think, etc., which is a good thing. And it's that kind of stinks, because if prices go up anymore, like, I don't know how people are going to afford stuff. And I think that companies know that as well, that people have been hit so hard over the past couple of years with these price increases that in the end, like, it's one of those things that they can't continue just to push up. It has to be a slow process, right? If you increase prices slowly over a slow period of time, people don't feel them as much as if, Netflix or Apple or whatever, like a lot of those companies are slowly increasing the prices of the cost of Netflix and Hulu. And you're going to notice that, like, you're seeing these Hulu's going up by $2, and they do that consistently over time instead of just going up $20. Because if you increased your product by, 50% cost in a month or two, then people are going to drop it. So that's why they're slowly increasing prices. All right. So other than that, Powell's talking about the tariffs, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But honestly, the market's having a nice rebound right now. Bitcoin, again, this is all intraday stuff. Let's go to the daily chart. Daily chart, not looking too bad here. The candle's red. It's not good. Again, nothing's changed for Bitcoin. Want to see Bitcoin break above this 117, 118 range and hold above it. Until it does that, I'm not really bullish on Bitcoin re-breaking the all-time high yet or retesting it. And so, again, I want to see it break above and hold that range. Until it does that, I mean, it's hard for me to go too overly heavy. But again, that can change at any time. And so you guys have to understand the volatility of this market. You want to be fluid. And that's why I don't want to be mega bullish or mega bearish whatsoever at the current moment. Because with that said, it's like, dude, you can be mega bearish or mega bullish, and it switched like instantly in this current moment. All right. Yeah, can the market follow the same pattern during the next cut? I think that's really interesting, because this is the thing. The next cut's going to be in October, okay? So historically, let's see here. Let's see, CoinGlass, Bitcoin history. Look at the ETFs. The ETFs continue to historical returns. So let's go ahead and, if you guys can see this. So Q3 historically, okay. Q4 historically pretty good, especially on those cycle years post-halving. 2021, 2017, 2013, right? Historically have all been green. Ethereum as well too. If you go down here, September, again, red of a lot of times, green a lot of times too. So a lot of different opinions right now, because when it comes to the rate cuts, we have seen what the stats say, the data says, is that rate cuts during or near an all-time high will continue to push prices higher, at least in stocks and risk assets, over the course of the next 6 to 12 months or whatever, right? Like it's going to push prices higher. But again, rate cuts doesn't mean that prices initially push hard at first. A lot of times too, what I've seen is in the first month, you can actually see a pullback. And so we have rate cuts now in September. The next rate cut will be in October. It's expected that it's a 25 basis point cut. For any reason, if you're asking this, for any reason, if it's a 50 basis point cut, I think next time, I think a 50 point basis cut this time would have acted like an emergency cut, would have been fearful. I think in October, if we do have a 50 basis point cut, since we've already started cutting rates, I think it's a less of a shock. So I do think that if we do get a 50 basis point cut in October, that can really send the markets higher, because people won't, and especially if we talk about it prior to, and if there's any indication that there's a 50-point cut. But even that 25 basis points, think bigger moves. Yeah, I think bigger moves. I think October, November tend to be green. It's really hard to say right now, but honestly, it's looking like we don't know yet what's going to happen with the market. It's going sideways right now. You do need to give this a little bit of time, okay? So right now, if I were to zoom out, it's really going sideways. You had a big wick down, you had a small wick up, and in the end, it's just they have to basically digest what was said today, and they have to digest everything. It was expected. It was priced in. The market moved up over the course of time because they knew that there was going to be a rate cut, and I think we can say the same for October, but I'm not counting out another pullback. You see some people who are definitely like, man, we are going to pull back more. And I'm not going to say that yet because I would rather take it level by level and day by day. But I'm also not like mega bull-tard. Oh man, we're just like going to skyrocket from here. I just don't think that has to happen. And so, we're basically, if you zoom out here, right? We came back up and we're in that prior zone that acted as support resistance. And really, people think so much like horizontals when it comes to these resistance support levels. Like, man, like they seem so simple, but they work so well. Like price action and what price is doing and how it's holding and volume, like those things really are quite telling as far as the strength of an asset. And then what you can do is you can like look at the strength of an asset like Bitcoin compared to the stocks or alts or whatever, and then compare it from there. But we do know that even though Bitcoin has run up, stocks have been much stronger. And for any reason, if stocks do decide to pull back here, okay, see this wick right here? A big giant wick on the 30-minute chart, which isn't good. So are we going to see it continue down? A downward stock market's going to pull Bitcoin down because Bitcoin, has already been weaker than stocks in general. So I'm just saying, don't count it out yet. Just wait for the market to digest it. And I think tomorrow we'll be able to have maybe another conversation as far as what can happen. But right now it's just kind of chopped sideways. But do keep an eye on the stock market. It's going to close here in the next hour or so. So again, based on that, you can then look at the ES and the futures, the SPX, futures, and then just kind of watch and see what Bitcoin does after hours. But, it is Wednesday, so we have 2 more days, which is great. We're not going into a weekend quite yet, but give it some time and we'll see if it does start to show strength here at all. If like Bitcoin does trend up and breaks this level, makes a new high, holds, 117 to 118, it holds that, then I think that we can have a real possibility of going back up to 124 and retesting that. So I would probably maybe flip long then. But again, I like retest of support levels. But that's just kind of what I'm watching. But yeah, I think that October, if we do get a pullback, I think it's going to be short-lived. And I think by October, sometime we will trend back up if we do get a pullback. Okay. Yeah, I would love a 30% pullback. We only have a 10% pullback here. You have to remember, though, like we did get a 30% pullback, and that was back from February to April. And so we got that, and doesn't mean that we can't get it again, right? This is a 14% pullback. To me, it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like it's weak. It's just not. I would love to come back down, sweep this level of like 97, 98. That's like a 20 to 23% pullback. Man, I would love that. It's just, I think that would reset markets. I think that would cause some stuff to bleed out, give some fantastic buying opportunities for altcoins for those of you who trade alts. I don't care whether it's Solana, Ethereum, meme coins, whatever. I think it would give some really good opportunity there. I would love to see that. And then you're going to see people, look, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people who are mega bullish. There's a lot of people right now saying that a lot of people are sidelined. And while I think that there are people sidelined, there are a lot of people who are just full bull hard right now too. So I don't know what to tell you. I feel like it's a 50-50. And so I would love to see a pullback. The most painful thing might be straight up. I mean, if you think about that. So honestly, for me, I have some spot. I have spot Bitcoin. I have some spot Ethereum right now. And I'm just kind of holding that and then kind of see what happens. So what other questions you guys have? Let me just go ahead and so Powell basically did his job as what he always does. He was very reserved in the sense of he, not really flashing too much as far as, he didn't take the bait of what people were trying to give him, as far as talking overly bearish or dovish or bearish or. All right, we're getting closer to ample reserves and monitoring closely. We're cutting size of balance sheets quite marginally, still in the abundant. He's just really reserved about what he says. Would need a big Fed rate change to matter for the housing sector. Yeah, houses are not going down. Like, you really need a lot more. You got to push, rates back down to like 4% for houses to go. Well, to make houses more affordable, what the problem is that doesn't really correct anything. Why that's a problem, right, is if you guys, long story short, I can tell you guys about me if you want to hear a story. I've been trying to actually build a house for a while, and it's really expensive. Like, I can afford it, okay? So basically, it's a lot of money, and I can pay for it, but I don't want to put a ton of capital into a house right now. And every house that my wife and I look for, we don't really love. Like, they're okay, but they're not worth the price of the price tag. So I'll look at a house and it could be 10, 15 years old. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't really love it for that price. It's just a lot of money. And so, for me, my current house where I live at now, we built it over a decade ago, actually. It's paid off, man. I have no mortgage. Okay. I have no debt. I have no card. I have no debt. I love having no debt. A big part of what I do and what I've done with my profits in crypto is just, I totally paid off all my debt, and I've never had debt now. And I love it. And so I don't want to go from having like zero debt to then buying a house that I don't necessarily love and then having this 6% interest rate on it. And then the thing is, even if Powell were to cut rates down to, like, say 4%, the problem is that houses would just keep going up in price. So even though you cut it 4%, if the price goes up 20% anyways, the total price, you're kind of you're kind of washing that rate cut out anyway. Because the fact is, now rates are lower, but the price is 25% higher. So if you see what I'm saying about that, like, the housing market is a total wreck. I just don't know what's going to fix it. I think in the end, like, it's hard to know if houses will make it back down until we have kind of a bear market. So what I'm saying is that, as I said earlier, I think that you need to, buy these assets now. Q4, they run up. See if they run up maybe in Q1. Some people think longer in 2026. We don't know yet. We have to wait and watch. But when we're feeling like this is it, this is the top, things are really frothy, things are euphoric, people are making money, take profits, take that out, put it in cash, and then, wait for the markets to pull back. And maybe when we have a big bear market, not only will we see the stock market pull back, but then maybe we'll finally see some housing prices pull down as well, right? So I think that maybe in another year or two, potentially, if they cut rates slowly and there's not like a big boom in houses, then I think that could flood the market, unless there's a big boom in house to flood the market. Anyways, point being is, I think it's going to be a couple of years until we see prices go down. That's kind of my story. I've been looking to build a house for a while, and with that too, I may even general contract my own house, meaning that I'm going to build a house and I basically order all the material, get all the bids, hire all the subcontractors, do everything. It's a ton of work, right? Like, it's an insane amount of work. And typically when you pay a builder to do that, so And this is the thing, guys, really quick. If I do this, I'm going to make like a YouTube channel over it, going over how I did it. Because my whole reason for doing that is because this is kind of off, but this has to do with finance. But for those of you who are ever interested in building a house, who want a new home, I don't know what country you live in, but if you can contract it out yourself and hire the right people, you're going to save a ton of money. I'm talking about like 40% off a new house, okay? Because what these builders do is they automatically charge you, if your house is $1 million to build, they automatically charge you 20% on top of that just to pay themselves. And then they go and they'll mark up supplies as high as 40%. So you're looking at seriously like, you know, a house that they may charge you $1.5 million for, that you can build it yourself for, I don't know, 800 to 900K. That's still expensive for a house, or even $1 million for, and maybe you can build it for $500,000. I know people who've done it, and I'm not talking about building it yourself. I'm talking about just general contracting it. It is a lot of work, but the way the society is going to, the way housing prices are going to, I think more people have to know how to do this. And if they ever want to have a house, or if they ever want to have a new house, because you're not going to really be able to afford to buy a new house. And this is the thing is, like I said, I have the money. I don't want to pay the money. And so for me, I would rather save hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars than pay a builder to do it. I just would. I just see it as a waste of money, because I'd rather have, you know, $500,000 in my bank and put in other investments making me more money than buying a house and then that be a liability and losing money. Anyway, that's yeah, guys. So with that said, I'll probably have another YouTube channel, because what I have to do is this is probably not going the way some of you want it, but it's super interesting stuff. And you have to do everything yourself. You have to get the architecture. You have to do everything. And it does cost money up front, but you can still take a construction loan and do it. But anyway, I think that more people in the future will move away from builders and general contract their own home. And so this is why I say this too. Like, it's also brought up in me, if you want to talk about investment ideas, like companies that help contract your home, that yeah, like just basically people that will help you build your house for less money than a builder, but it done in a good way, right? So basically, like companies that mass general contract could be a potential investment opportunity, because again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to save people money from a builder, but yet do a good job and have the same quality. Anyways, that's just an investment opportunity I've thought in my own head. It's just, and this is how you have to make money. You have to think about how society changes. And another thing too, we won't get on this. If you want to talk about investment opportunities, small homes, right? Tiny homes. We live in massive homes. Even the house I want to build is too big. Probably it really is. It's going to be too big, and I shouldn't build one that big. But I think tiny homes, and super interested in looking in more information about, you know, the tiny home communities and building those, because I think in the future, in the next 20 years, you could even see people go from flipping from living in houses and not living in apartments, because apartments and condos, the problem with those are they're attached, or you're leasing those and they're not yours. You don't have ownership. But if you have your own tiny home, you actually own that lot that you're in. You own your home. It's not big. You have a bathroom, maybe 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, you know, a small space to watch TV, a couple of bedrooms. It's kind of like an RV almost, right? Maybe bigger, maybe smaller, but having those types of structures and building that way could be a massive opportunity in the future. I think it can be. So anyway, just letting you guys know, like, these are things that you have to think about too. If you want to be a good investor, you have to think about problems that people have and how to solve those, and things that can be done. And I think one thing for sure is people are always going to have homes. People always need a place to live, always, until the end of time, okay? Housing prices are going to be really hard to go down. And I think more and more over time that they're going to be less and less affordable, especially a new house, okay? And so, and you have to think about, those types of things. And I think this is something that could potentially solve it. So anyway, that's just a really, really cool idea. If I do some stuff on that, guys, I'll let you know, because I'm always trying to look at stuff outside of crypto, because crypto is fantastic. But in the end, like, let's be real, man. Like it is interesting if you can not only do Bitcoin and crypto, but then do other things too, and make money that way. Okay. So, but let's see if there's anything else that was said. Thanks for listening to that. Nothing else. He concluded his remarks. Besides the outliers of the Michigan survey, longer-term inflation expectations have been rock solid. Prices back up. Okay. So let's go to Bitcoin. Now it looks like Ethereum looks a little stronger than Bitcoin right now. Let's go to the hour chart. Okay. Yep. It's about the same. Stock markets are back up. Guys, this was basically a nothing burger. If you bought prior to FOMC rate cuts today and before the meeting, okay? And if you bought, you're probably, this is it, right? Okay. You're like barely up, like you're basically break even, a little over break even. Bitcoin too. Bitcoin was like 15,900, maybe 116. Okay. You're at the same price, man. Like, so really what we're doing here is, and this could even be the pullback that we wanted. And so if Bitcoin pushes up from here and breaks this, we could continue to go up, guys. So again, all I have to say is you want to watch this level for Bitcoin. So what I want you to do is watch this level. Can we get higher than 117,500, 118-ish? Can we break above that level? Okay. And I think if we can break above this level, again, this was the area that acted as support resistance for so long. And I just want to make sure that this just wasn't like this swing failure pattern of this range, right? So you go here and then swing failure patterns or price breaks up, comes back down, and continues down. So I want to make sure that that's not the case for this. And so we'll just kind of wait and see. But right now, markets are just sideways. Nothing really too much is going on with that. Let's see Ethereum, again, looking decent right now. Again, I know I have all these lines here, but check this out. Ethereum is holding this level. So again, we came up above 47, came back down, retested that, came up, retested again. We're holding it, and we're just kind of sitting here at 4,500 for Ethereum right now. So if Ethereum breaks back below 4,400, that's not like probably going to come back down to 42 and retest this low, okay? And it's not a good thing. But if it can sustain this, 44, 4,500 range, it's a good thing overall for ETH. And I think stock market in general is a little bit harder because it's been just straight up for a while. So honestly, we'll wait and see what this does. But most of you here, your Bitcoin, your crypto traders, your Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, whatever, you're going to have, if Bitcoin does chop right here as well too, expect to see some altcoins maybe move up. Okay. So expect that. There's always going to be outliers in there. And so a couple other things. Do you think eventually Bitcoin might suck excess value out of real estate, making houses more affordable? Well, now as we talk about, here's an example. Did gold do that? Because I think a lot of people look at Bitcoin as a commodity, store value commodity. And I don't necessarily think that is, I don't think it's the case. Such a different type of asset. Again, assets that you can invest in. But as far as real estate in general, unless it's like raw land that you can flip later and it's worth a lot of times if you're buying houses, unless you actually intend to flip it, I mean, it's really hard to make money on houses right now. You have to basically go in and change it yourself and flip it, unless you find some really crazy deal. But most houses on the market, if you buy that, I don't know if you're necessarily going to make significant money, right? So especially if like you're doing Airbnbs right now, because again, rates aren't low, house prices are pretty high still. There's not really money to be made. I don't care. You can borrow money all day. There are people who have been in real estate prior to COVID So if like you go to all these people, there's a ton of real estate people on YouTube, and they all swear by real estate, right? Because that's what they know, that's what they do, that's how they make their money. They don't want you to think that you can't make money in real estate. If they do, then they'd stop losing followers. They wouldn't make money, they wouldn't get views. So they're not going to tell you that. But for me, I'm going to say, I watch some of these guys, I don't see where there's money to be made. And maybe there are some people who know how within that, but you have to know, again, people, you have to partner with people and go in and buy to flip these houses, to make them better, to work on themselves. But if you're just buying an asset and just renting it out to people, it's probably going to be really hard to make your money back, at least right now. Because again, rates and mortgages and the cost of things is just high. Okay, so that's a really long answer, but I think that really just breaks it down to say, look, I don't necessarily think that Bitcoin will cause these home prices to go down. I do think what's going to cause home prices to go down, though, is a lot of older people or baby boomers. Again, they're like my parents, my wife's parents, definitely my wife's parents. I mean, people who are retired and they've been living in a house for 20 years. 30 years more, like over the past years and probably here over the next decade, a lot of those people are going to start selling their homes and buying condos, buying smaller houses. And so I think in general are just dying. And honestly, I hate to say it. And a lot of the baby boomers are in the 70s or so. And I mean, again, you've got another 20 years, but in the next decade to next 20 years, you could potentially, not now, you could honestly see, and of course, house prices could go up since then, from now until then, but then you could see a mass amount of houses flood the market from these people dying, especially in states like Arizona and Florida, where a lot of these baby boomers move to. And this is the United States, okay? By the way, I know a lot of you live in Europe, but maybe the same thing with Europe, maybe the same thing with Asia. And I know at least for the United States, you have this whole population where people are older, a mass population, make up a mass amount, and they own homes, and eventually they will pass away or whatever, and then give their house to their kids, and those people will sell it. Okay, so anyway, I'll end up giving some money away, not today, just because I was on here kind of last minute. Like I said, today was my anniversary. Always fun to spend time with my spouse, my wife, and and honestly, I'm glad that I did, because FOMC was basically a nothing burger. It's just sideways, and you can basically buy Bitcoin, ETH, and stocks where you bought it prior to FOMC. The entire price moving up was priced in the past month, and honestly, unless Powell said something mega dovish, like we need to cut 50 basis points next time, or talked hawkish, nothing was going to change for the markets. Okay, so thanks for the anniversary wishes, I appreciate that. But as far as Bitcoin goes, again, just to go back to houses, if you want to make your house more affordable in the future, I mean, I think it's buying these risk assets here now, here over the next couple of months, or what you have now in spot, and selling those at a market high here in the coming year, and then using those profits to then pay off your house or to buy a house, etc., if you want to do that. But as for me, I mean, I could literally make a ton of money in the market, and I still don't want to pay a builder, because I feel like it's theft. I really do. Like, what these builders are paying for houses, I don't want to pay them. I don't care. I literally don't care. I will not pay a builder. And honestly, I could probably general contract my own house, save a ton of money, then like record it all on YouTube and make a series about it, and I could probably make like money back on ads and partnerships doing that, rather than like, it's just, I'd rather do that anyway. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. The market's going sideways. I don't think that there's really anything else. I think to leave you is that you need to allow investors, the market, to digest a little bit. I already gave you where Bitcoin needs to break above. You need to see it continue to break on high. You need to see ETH break back above, hold 4650 or so. If it can do that, if it breaks down lower, then it's not a good thing. Stocks are a little bit more back and sideways, But for Bitcoin and ETH, we do know that. I do believe if you see ETH get stronger, you're going to see other alts get stronger as well too. You know, you can watch the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's probably just going sideways right now, but there's not really too much going on. I wanted to record today because I thought that there could be some massive moves in the market based on what he talked about. So we wanted to be prepared based on that. But really, you know, Bitcoin dipped and it's back. It's basically it's back it's back in this range. It just came back down and it just kind of bounced in this area and it's just going sideways. And so right now we don't really have anything to talk about other than just stay focused. If you have spot positions, I mean, for me personally, Bitcoin is at each spot. I'm still holding those. So, you know, guys, just continue to do that. Okay. Yeah. So, Nate, you won. So what you can do is, I don't know if you have yeah, I'll have to see. I did send some Bitcoin out, $100 of Bitcoin giveaway. The problem is like, man, like I was having people like fake, like to win the $100 Bitcoin giveaway. I would announce the winner and people would would make a new account and change their names and profile pictures to win the $100 in Bitcoin. I mean, it's kind of wild. So, all right, Nate. Well, again, man, Nate, you can leave your a comment on the video when I'm done and just your Bitcoin address, and I can kind of go to your profile to confirm it's you. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then I can probably resend the Bitcoin. But we'll have more giveaways here as far as that goes. I'll keep making more videos, but for now, Bitcoin and ETH continue to go sideways. There's no news for it. So guys, keep your spot positions open, watch your leverage, and just be aware that the market could shift at any moment, both up or down, okay? We don't want to predict either way. Just watch those levels by level. But really, other than that, man, that's where we're at, okay? So, guys, again, thanks for being live. Sorry we couldn't watch PAL earlier. I have some stuff set up on my computers to prevent my kids from, like, getting on, you know, websites that they shouldn't be. You know, they're young kids, so just want to make sure that that happens. And sometimes what happens is they will actually block, like, stuff on like YouTube and social media. So I'm going to have to go through there and make sure that I fix that because I'm working on YouTube. So I want to make sure that I can actually see your comments and do that. So, all right, guys, with that said, I will see you soon. Okay. So that's it for the live stream. Be on the lookout for more from me. Thanks for being here. Always watch those levels by levels, and I'll leave it as always. You guys have a great rest of your day. Trade safe, and I will see you on the next one.